Actually, can all of you hear me? Perfect. All right. So I'm here today, Vince Moiso, president of Oceanside Glass Tile, and I'm going to talk to you about the ever-expanding trend of going outdoors. So we're talking about the living space moving to the great outdoors, and today we're going to do it OGT style, Oceanside Glass Tile. And I'll focus on a handful of things, right? So right out of the gate, I'm just going to talk about outdoor spaces and how those trends have surfaced. And I feel like right now it's just a race for this industry to get out. A lot of players that have not historically been selling products outdoors obviously are getting into this space. Then I'm going to talk to you about pool perfection. Pools, very, very, very important. Understanding the products that you put into a pool can make or break not only the way that it looks, but the way that it functions. Then I want to talk about water features and then move into lifestyle inspiration for you. And we'll close out with just a few things that you need to know. So I'll give you some free advice. All right, so starting out with outdoor spaces. As I mentioned to you, the most current trend is really just expanding the living space outdoors. So we've all experienced COVID. Moving into COVID, I think a lot of people spending a lot of time inside their houses got them to take a look at what their outdoor spaces not only just look like, but what it felt like. And so, I call the exterior environment into a living room type environment, right? And as technology has also expanded, so we've got people moving to build out ADUs in their backyard that normally wouldn't have an ADU back there. Everything to your patio cover technology, all the way to kind of what you see here, where I'd call that a true living space. So it's an eating environment, a dining area where you're breaking bread with family and friends, to fire pits, and of course pools, which we'll talk about in a second. Now at Oceanside Glass Tile, we love glass, right? So certainly we like glass as that medium that you can use in a myriad of applications. Here you see it everything from a barbecue space to a fire pit, to a water line in a pool, and then any surface area, vertical surface area that you can think of. And why that's important is our glass specifically can go outdoors in a freeze-thaw environment, can be submerged into water and survive that ambient temperature change. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So as we move to pool perfection, obviously our favorite, of course, is pools. Nothing better for us than to fill up an entire pool full of glass tile mosaics. So that's the best option as far as we're concerned. But glass, is unlike any other medium that you can find. So unlike your ceramics or your porcelains or your natural stones, even your concrete that can go outdoors, glass offers a totally different perspective in color, finish, and refractory quality. And what I mean by that is how the light hits it and reflects off the water and reflects off the glass. There's nothing like it in the tile world. So having a product like that can accent a living space is pretty incredible. Now, one thing to point out, last year was a banner year for pools. I think even 2021 into 2022 was an incredible year for pools. So over 100,000 people in the U.S. alone broke ground on pools. I don't think we're going to get that kind of trend this year, unfortunately. So if things have down a little bit, I think we'll see that back off. But we haven't seen the high end, right? We haven't seen that high end, that luxury market back off too much. So I think those that are already in motion on projects for pools are going to continue in that realm. So talking more about pool perfection, and I like showing these two pictures. You heard me talk about the refractory quality of glass. Well, I think, the trend when we think of lighting, most people think of interior design. And I would argue that the exterior design and thinking about lighting is equally important when you go outside. So in thinking of how that pool's going to look, during the day, at night, cloud cover, no cloud cover, you're literally going to get a different ambient feel in any time of the day. And it also depends on geographically where you're located in the United States, right? So I live in Southern California, and out in California, pools are very, very popular, way more common than in other areas in the country. And so we get a lot of sunshine too. So I don't complain about the weather too much living in Southern California. And with that sunshine comes a lot of light and a lot of attention to a backyard living space. And so glass can be a critical component to that. Specifically in pools, you know, if you're looking at your blues, your greens, and into that color range, even your grays and your whites, and even mixtures can create a whole other color and lighting feature within a pool application. On top of that, if you've never heard of the term iridescence, so iridescence is a quality, it's actually a finish that you can add to a glass tile that gives this reflection of light. So in certain times of the day, when the light's sitting in a certain way, you can actually see different colors reflect off of the glass. Now, if you're just looking at that piece of glass, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You'd be looking at a blue piece of glass, but that iridescence gives it a totally different quality as light hits it. So, you know, glass, again, I'm repeating myself here, but glass offers you something that no other medium in the tile industry can offer you in that regard. So, if I didn't say it already, we love pools. So, what I want to be real about right here is, let's face it, if you're in the tile industry, you're in the lifestyle business. That's the reality of the work that we do. We sell a lifestyle, right? We're not just about tile, we're not just about a surface or a covering or whatever that is. We're selling a lifestyle. That picture right there can tell you everything about what we're selling. And that's actually the son of a friend of mine, and he's got an incredible smile. So we got his permission to use him for that picture right there. But that's just the best. You know, when I get a phone call and somebody tells me what that pool did for their family and how that brought them together that summer and how incredible of a time that they had throughout that summer with their family being together, that's pretty incredible, because that's what we sold them. We sold them a lifestyle, and they love it. And that happiness tells you everything. I love life in pictures, so I'm a big dog fan. I have 2 dogs at home. And you know, looking at a beautiful dog like that just laying outside in a living space that is just incredible. I love that. And so as you can see, like, you don't even need, I chose this top picture specifically because you don't need a huge space to put a pool, as you can see right there. And especially in California, any of us that live in California, the lots are pretty small. You don't have a lot to work with when you're talking about building a pool. So that type of space lends itself perfectly to what I'd call just extending your living space incredibly, and giving you something that you otherwise wouldn't get, especially adding glass to that mix. And that's what we're selling. We're selling an outdoor lifestyle. I think for us, the biggest segment of the tile market that we are in as a manufacturer is definitely the outdoors. It's the great outdoors. So we love it. We certainly love that a lot of companies are running to get their products outside and sell their products outside, because it is just an extension of the living space, and that's what people want. So with that said, I want to offer some free advice, and this is important to understand. Not all tile is created equal. Not all glass tile is created equal. So what's important, the disclaimer that you need to know and understand is know your tile, know your glass tile specifically. So not all glass tile can go outdoors. It's very, very critical to know and understand whether or not that product is freeze thaw. Can it go into a freeze thaw environment? Is it frost proof? And understanding that, think of it this way. So you've got water in a pool that might be 70 degrees. You've got the sun coming up and it might be 50 or 60 degrees outside. In a matter of minutes, once the sun is up, you might see a 20, 30, up to a 40-degree temperature change. And as the sun starts to hit that glass is actually retaining that heat. That piece of glass might be 120 degrees, maybe more. And as a 70-degree water splashes up and hits that glass, it immediately cools down to 70 degrees. So you've got this radical ambient temperature change that occurs on the glass product. And the glass needs to be able to withstand that. And how is that done? It's the annealing process. It's the cooling process in manufacturing a piece of glass that gets you to that result. And if it's cooled over time, the stress of the glass is removed and therefore can go outside and withstand those radical temperature changes. I think the other things you need to pay attention to, right? Glass is impervious, right? It's just naturally impervious. So obviously that's why it can be submerged. It can be utilized in water features and many other applications, especially outdoors. It's also chemical resistant, highly chemical resistant. So even when I talked about that iridized finish, what makes that special with Oceanside Glass and Tile is that we double fire that into the glass. So it's not going to be removed or fade over time, and it still maintains that chemical resistance, so it's not going to rub off. Nor will it stain, fade, all of those things that you would want from an outdoor product over time. So obviously it's hard for me to speak totally objectively about glass tile in an application like a pool, but as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the best products, most applicable products that you could put in a pool and move outdoors. So we do have some sheets that is available on coverings.com. So if you look at the resources there, we do have a handout for everybody that outlines all the things that I just talked about that you need to look out for when you're thinking about moving products outdoors. We also have our catalog that's available for download if you'd like. And then if you want to follow us on the various social media sites, pretty simple. Our handle for everything is at Oceanside Glass Tile. And we're always available for questions. And of course, we have tremendous partners throughout the country. So a lot of great national companies that distribute our products, stock and distribute our products. So they are available through your favorite distributors and your favorite local dealers in your market. And we have a ton of support, technical guides, installation guides available as needed to help you with your needs for thinking about how to expand your outdoor living space. And that's it. Thank you for me.